What if you recorded inside of your DJ software, and when you record, number one, you notice that the recording is a lot lower in volume, number one. Number two, you also recognize that the recording itself is in a different format other than an MP3. So it makes it very difficult to sort of send this to somebody. So it records in either a WAV or AIFF file. How do we convert that? So I'm going to tackle both of those things as we talk about them. So number one, when you record inside of your DJ software, you are not tripping. It is recording at a lower volume. And I'll tell you why. With most recorders, it records at a lower volume so that you can boost it up afterwards. What you don't want is you don't want to have a situation where when you record it, it's distorted because you've maybe overdriven the system, right? And you're putting out too much sound. If it's distorted, there's no way to fix that. I kind of take that back a little bit. There are different tools that you can use now with AI and such that you could fix certain things potentially, but it is not ideal. It would be better that you recorded something a little bit on the lower side and that you're going to then amplify that up afterwards. So you're not tripping out when you sort of see that. So I'm going to show you a couple of things today. One is I'm going to show you how to record inside of your DJ software. When we record it, what we then can do is we can take it to another program to amplify it. Or in this case, let's say we were just fine with the level of recording, the level of volume. I'm going to show you how to convert it. So let's go to, I'm going to go to my computer first. Let's go, I'm using Serato right now. So let's go ahead and switch over there. So recording in Serato. Now, I'm going to bring up something here. Let's go ahead and play this track. You should be able to hear that. Yeah, you got that. Okay, good. So let me just turn off I've got laptop speakers on as well. So let's go ahead and record. So if I were to go ahead and do this, you will see I click on the little record button here up at the top. That brings up this panel. Now, in this case, I have a mix or a video mix option that's here. Depending on the controller you are on, you might have some different options in your dropdown. I can change the recording location. Right now, it's sending to this recording folder. I'm going to leave that there for right now because I want to show you where that's located by default. And then this is our record button. And this has some interesting behavior. So let's just record something really quick. Let me go ahead and start that again. I'm recording. I'm jumping around to different sections. Maybe okay, so I just recorded something. I'm going to hit stop on the recording. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in. Do you see how there's a number value here? That means that the recording is stored there. I know this is a little bit small maybe to see, but this says 25 seconds is what I've recorded. So if I hit record again, there's going to be a major problem. It's going to undo my recording. It'll start recording over what I just recorded. So I don't want to do that quite yet. I'm not done yet. It does not autosave inside of Serato. So instead, I've got to call this something. Let's call this recording live heaven. It's kind of interesting. Recording live heaven. All right. Now I'm going to hit save. Once I hit save, it's gone into a recorded folder. And this is where it is, recording live heaven. Now, I'm going to show you a shortcut on this real quick. So actually, before I show you the shortcut, let's load it just to make sure it's the same. Yep, that's everything I did. Jump to a different hot cue. You'll also see that I pulled the volume fader down here. Filter. Cool. So it's got everything that I wanted here. That's all good. So now let's say, where is this actually stored? So we're going to Command R, and that's going to bring up this location. So Command R, remember that one. Command R, that'll bring up the location of where it's at. But let me show you another way to do this. If you're on Serato 4.0 or above, I can control click, which would be a right click, and I can go to show in Finder. See that there? And you'll see that there's a little shortcut, Command R. So when I bring it up, this is where it's located. You'll see that it's an AIFF audio file. It's 4.9 megabytes. This was a 25-second clip, and it's 4.9 megabytes. So this is really important to share with you. A WAV file or an AIFF file is sometimes referred to as raw audio or lossless audio. This is what it would sound like if you were in a recording studio and this is the final file that you're getting. It would be a WAV file or an AIFF file. It's a high quality file. It's the highest quality file you could have when it comes to audio. Now, WAV file versus MP3. So let me actually go and I'm going to bring up my whiteboard here. So let's switch over to my whiteboard. So we've got WAV. I'm going to put it on this side. WAV. It's WAV, right? It's like a .wav or a .aif. And this is like our AIFF file. Right? Now there's some other options. Like you might see something called FLAC as well. These are all raw audio. So this is like raw audio, which means that they're better in quality. See my little plus sign, better in quality, but they're also bigger in terms of files. Then I have compressed audio, which would typically be known as your MP3. So when it comes to an MP3, you've got different types of MP3s. And when it comes to MP3s, there's such thing called bitrate. So the bitrate range can go at the highest 320 to all the way down to, I think the lowest I've ever seen was like 47 or something like that. But in here, you've got some other popular options like, what have you got? 256, 192, 160, all the way down. Now, what does this mean exactly, Coach? Well, when you have a waveform, say we have a waveform, we've got different frequencies that are here. And what happens is as you are compressing the audio, what you're doing is you're cutting off the high highs, you're cutting off the low lows. So as this number here goes from 320 all the way down, right? If we keep going down, what it's basically doing is, in a nutshell, it's cutting off more of this. So we're not actually hearing this. We're not actually hearing this. Right? Let me see. I don't know why it just disappears, but you get the idea that like we're still going to hear this middle section here. So we're still going to hear the song. It's just that we're not going to hear the low lows or the high highs, right? It's really eliminating some of this extra space, which is why the file is also smaller, because we're not getting all of this data. So it's a smaller compressed audio. Once it's compressed, it cannot be uncompressed. So once it's been shrunken down, it's basically chopping these pieces off. And then that's it. You can't take a low quality MP3 and now amplify that and now make it a WAV file, which, by the way, we'll talk about this here just in one moment. So it's important to note this. So I need you to understand. So now some of you might be saying, well, of course, why would I even want the MP3? I only want the WAV file. That's not a bad thought. The only problem is that not everything comes as a WAV file. Also, this is going to be 6 times bigger than a high quality MP3. This is going to be 6 times bigger. So if you think about that, right, for a small library, maybe that's okay. But as you continue to build your library, that's going to start to really eat up that space in your hard drive. Not only that, but then the files also are much bigger files and they're harder to move around. So that's our whole thing today. Today, what I was going to show you is, because I've recorded this, I recorded myself doing a mix. This was only 25 seconds. But realistically, I'd probably record a 15, 20-minute mix. I mean, if you recorded an hour mix, think about that. That's 6 times the size of what that would be. So let's go back here, though. And based off of this, right now, I want to take this AIFF and I want to convert this, let's say, into an MP3. So let me show you a couple ways to do that. The first one is I'm going to take this into Apple Music. So if I double click on it, because I'm on a Mac, it's going to by default open up inside of my Mac. We can go to songs, and this is going to, did it open? Let's try this again. There we go, recording live heaven. It's playing on my side. You can't hear it. It's coming out of my MacBook speakers, but here we go. I have recording live in heaven. Now let's go ahead and find that. Let's look for it based off of, what am I sorting by? Kind, last played. No, yeah. Nope, that didn't show up there. Okay, so let's try it by title. Organize that by title, recording live. There it is, recording live heaven. Okay, so we need to convert this. We need to convert this one. So if we go to music, settings, inside of our settings, I want to make you aware of a couple of things. So all of you who use Apple Music or you're using a Mac, you should check these settings. This is really important. Advanced. No, sorry, files. It's in files. In files, this right here should be checked off. You see this copy files to music media folder when adding to library. Some of you have double of everything. At least everything that's opened up inside of Apple Music. You have double. You don't even know that you have double. This is Apple's kind of sneaky way of making a copy of that MP3 or that WAV file. And again, if these are WAV files or AIFFs, you now have double of those. So if you made a mix and that mix was half an hour and that thing was, let's say, a gigabyte in size. And now when you brought it into Apple Music, it made a copy of that. Now that's taking up 2 gigs on your actual laptop. And let's say this was just a practice session, which, by the way, you should be recording your practice. I know what you might be thinking, Coach, I'm not ready to record. Yes, you are. Record. And you should record when you feel like that. When you feel like you're not ready, that's exactly when you should be recording. Your recording is going to tell you so much. It's going to give you so much information. So make sure that you're recording. And this is why this lesson is important to be able to share. Okay, so let's go back here. So I want to make sure this is unchecked. Very, very important. Make sure that this is unchecked. Now under it, I have import settings. I'm going to click on that. By default, it's going to be your AAC encoder. Now what you'll notice is that it's very small in terms of size. This is a 256 kilobytes stereo. The AAC is. I'm going to change this though to an MP3 encoder. And then I'm going to change it not to, look, it shows good quality, high quality, higher quality. Higher quality 192. But there's also custom. So if I click on custom, I can now get this up to 320. And that's what I want. I want this up to 320. So now when I convert this, let me show you how. I only have to set that once, by the way. Once I've set it, I don't have to worry about it anymore. So now that I'm on this recording live heaven, I can now go to File, Convert, Create MP3 version. And now it's done. So this one is an MP3 version. So you'll see that this one is an AIFF and this one is an MP3 version. Now, where this is located is here. It's located in music media, unknown art, or music. It's look, music, media, music, unknown artist. I hate that about iTunes. I hate the fact that it organizes stuff that way. It's so hard to find anything. And so on the front end, Apple makes this really easy because it's user-friendly on the front end. The problem is it's kind of like going to somebody's house and it looks immaculate and they've basically shoved all of their junk into this closet. That's all they've done. The junk is still there. It's just you can't see it right now. That's kind of what it's like on a Mac in a lot of ways. And I'm not trying to talk bad about a Mac. I love my Mac. At the same time, things like this, it's easy to access. Now, the reason why they make a copy of it is because that is what allows them to then have that song in the ecosystem. Meaning now when I open up my iPhone and it syncs with iCloud and it does all these things, that then I can get it right away and all of it is there. And it's almost like it's magic. You have no idea how it got there. I personally want to know how it got there. I want to know where it's located so I can find it if I need to find it. So in this case, we have it. There it is. This is the MP3. Let's go ahead and show this in Finder so you can see that as well. So here it is in the Finder. So here's the unknown album. Look at the size. This is 1 megabyte versus 4.9 megabytes. Much different size-wise. And I would challenge almost anybody to listening back to back the AIFF version and the 320 MP3. I would challenge you. I don't think that you'd be able to tell the real difference. I really don't. It's pretty undetectable at that level, even on bigger speakers. It's not exactly like it is noticeable if you're talking about a 160 bit rate MP3 versus a AIFF. There's a big difference here, but between the 320 and this, there's not that much of a difference. Like, you're not really gonna hear that. And for the amount of space that you can save on your computer, I think it's worth it, especially for your recordings, especially when you're recording stuff. So hopefully that's helpful for you. I do want to encourage you to make sure that you are recording your sets. I'm going to say it again. Record your sets, and don't just wait until you're ready to record. You should record everything, truly. And then you should listen back. And usually what I would recommend is to record a couple of times through and then listen back later. But if you have the recording, now you can actually learn from it. You can listen back to it with an objective ear, because I'm sorry, while you're in the middle of mixing, you're not going to necessarily get the most accurate observation. You might think that sounded good. Then you go back and listen to the recording, you're like, ooh, that didn't really land right. But that other part that I thought sounded horrible, that actually could work. You're going to learn a lot from that. I often talk about this as being like game film. You're learning off of that, right? In the same way that professional athletes or collegiate athletes or athletes at a certain level are learning from watching the game film back, this is what you're going to get by getting the recordings and watching that back. Plus, now that you have it as an MP3 version, now you can share that with people within your inner circle, people you trust, maybe your coaches, maybe teammates, people that are around that can give you honest feedback. Be very careful of these people, by the way, that you send them a mix and they're like, oh yeah, it was really good. What was good about it? We need specifics. We need details. Otherwise, it's not good feedback. I know it makes you feel good to have somebody tell you, oh, that was amazing. That mix was amazing. But you want to know what was amazing about it. What part of it was amazing? And that person doesn't have to be a DJ. They just need to be able to highlight, and be specific. They don't need to be a DJ. They could say, hey, I really like the way that those two songs fit together. Like, I would have never even thought of mixing those two songs together. Not a DJ, but is able to give you that type of specific feedback. So hopefully that helps. For a lot of you who are out there, have to know how to convert this. And then I want to shift gears really quick. And on this same topic, I know I kind of briefly talked about it, but there was there was a comment, and we kind of went back and forth earlier today. There was a comment about something that I had posted up. We had a video that was up on YouTube. It's still up on YouTube. And there was a viewer who was suggesting that beginners should download only AIFF and WAV files. And I believe that that is actually bad advice. And I'll tell you why. Number one, it's not possible that you're going to fill up your library with only AIF and WAV files. I know some of these people. I've met some of these people that have actually been led down the wrong path by other pro DJs telling you that you need to have lossless files. And it's absolute horrible advice, because there are some tracks that you'll just never, ever get the WAV file for. And even if you did, I've actually got a friend in Saudi Arabia who's got this tool that I'm actually very excited to be able to try out. And we're going to try it out here, and then I'm going to also share this link with those of you who want to try this out. But he's got this software that he built to figure out, is this file really a WAV file? Like, is it true? Like, not does it say it's a WAV file, but instead, does it have all of those elements of what it is? Is it truly a WAV file? And he has this detection that he has on his side to be able to figure that out. But the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of people that are out there that are saying that, like, I can go and convert YouTube to WAV. And technically they're not lying. You could convert YouTube to WAV The problem is that the original quality of the stream was not a high quality. So you are recording a WAV file technically, but that does not mean that it's quality. You get my drift? That would be the same as me having a really distorted photo that I took off of some really crappy like smartphone from 15 years ago. And I had that and I printed it out and it was somewhat pixelated. And then you came along with a $3,000 like professional camera and took a picture of that picture. Technically, you would have a very high quality photo of a really crappy pixelated photo. And that's what's happening in the audio space. And so there are people that are being tricked into thinking that they are getting all like this library that's high quality. And the problem is that it probably isn't. It probably isn't. There's got to be. I don't know anybody who has a library, a DJ library that is only WAV and AIFF, and all those files are studio grade quality. And if so, the only way to do that would be if you were producing your own music and you controlled the output yourself. But the second you're getting music from other sources, there's no way of telling. Except for this friend of mine who has this tool now that we're going to find out. We're going to start to expose things, which I'm excited about. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. Don't fall into that trap though, folks, and don't feel bad for anybody who's getting music from record pools and you're getting 320 bitrate MP3s from record pools and they sound good to you, and when you're playing this off your speakers, you still get the low end, you still get the full dynamics of what it is. Do not feel bad that that is not a WAV file. Because there are songs, like I'm saying, literally, that do not exist. The WAV file does not exist in its pure form. There's no way that you could get your hands on. Here this is. This is the Beatles, Yesterday, WAV file. Is it? Really? Like, did you know for a fact that that is? So, yeah, keep that in mind. And ultimately, like, to me, there's a little bit of, like, I don't know. There's a little bit of snobbery in that to some degree. I'm not saying about the person who made the comment on the YouTube video, but just in general, I have heard that from certain DJs that sort of, kind of turn their nose up at other DJs because, it's like, oh, all of my files are WAV files, all of my files. And I think some of them are going to get really exposed with this tool that my friend has.